We're good. We're just waiting on Tyler.
Okay, it is 7 p.m. Tuesday, May 11th. We call this regular session to order. If y'all will stand for the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we pause to come to you in prayer tonight to ask for your wisdom and guidance as we make decisions for our city. We ask that your presence be felt in every heart and mind, and we know that you can see every detail and every effort that is made here. Unlock our mindset from comparison in order to work together and to do what is fair and just for everyone, and to do so efficiently. Let us find peace and purpose as we strive to move our city forward with a renewed spirit. Be our guiding light for all that we set out to accomplish. We thank you for your grace, mercy, and your many blessings. Please watch over us as we leave this place and as we live our daily lives. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to item 4, citizens input related to agenda item. Do we have any citizens input? Back in the back, yes, sir. Can you state your name and address?
Clint Jenkins.
Yeah, did you fill out a form at the top here?
I called and I paused and I tried to get in here and see, I believe I talked to Leanne and I asked if I need to be on the agenda or what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I spoke to you on the phone.
Yeah, I recall. Yeah,
So now I finally met you in person.
I know him for a face.
So I want to be able to speak about, if I can.
Well, yeah, and that's fine. What we have on the podium is it's just a quick, short, simple little thing. You can have, we don't have to sit here and wait on you to do that. Just go ahead and-
Yeah, I've read it. It's the one that's been passed around. I've read it. Is there something different?
No, this is a form to fill out to speak.
Yeah, if you would do that. Is there anybody else gonna be, speaking? Okay. Won't take a minute. We could move on and do announcements and yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if you.
I kind of skipped it.
I was gonna say announcements before that, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
So Groom and Sons is having their grand opening Friday. If anybody around town is available to stop down there and visit with them, that'd be great.
Starts Thursday.
Starts Thursday.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
What time do we close?
I just saw the flyer. I don't know.
They keep me up.
They're gonna have their actual grand open on Friday, so.
It's Saturday.
Saturday, that was where I was going next. Saturday, 7 a.m. East Tawakoni is doing the 5K across the bridge and back. So we can be out there directing traffic and all that. Anybody from the city show up out there, show support for the city. That would be great.
Do we have to run?
Can you run?
Yeah.
There's a long wall.
Well, you can run, you can do what you want. I'm gonna stand out there and shake hands.
And they're not only looking for runners or walkers, they're also looking for some volunteers to help out at the city hall. So,
Side by side?
they're gonna have hot dogs and they're gonna have all kind of things going. And the way we're looking at that, as our council looks at that, it's a mending fence though, between us and East Tawakoni, and we want to continue to mend those relationships with our sister cities around here. So that's why we're really taking the ownership of this. We want them to be successful in their efforts and everything. So if anybody would like to volunteer, hit me up or hit Chris Burkett here up after the meeting, and we'll get you some contact information. So
Last one,
Good.
From the fire department, they want to say thanks for everybody that showed support for the hooks and ladders tournament this last Saturday. That turned out to be a great event, hoping to do that an annual event. Got a bunch of fish for our upcoming fish fry and raise some money. So
Is there anything else? Okay, let's move on to citizens input. You wanna go first, Mr. Jenkins?
Oh, if you need to.
It doesn't matter to me.
I wish I was coming to you under better terms.
I know.
Yeah, you already know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. No, I just want to address you about now it's went from water over the road being a flooding issue to now the grate's broken. Sticking up out of the water probably 2 foot. So it's turned into more of a safety issue now than it has just me trying to be a pain. And you don't know what's under that water. You have no idea what's going on there. And I came to the planning and zoning meeting Thursday. I didn't realize that that's what that was. Just trying to figure out what we can do. And that's what I want to know. I'm trying to get something done. And I've already talked to your public works. I've talked to Leanne. I mean, I've about talked to everybody that I can talk to. So I figure I'm trying to do it the right way and not be just a person that throws a fit. But it's like, come on, we're a city. It's 2021. We need to handle problems.
Can we
And this
ask
is
you
one
what
of
road you're speaking of?
them. Well run right there beside Quick. What is it?
Scotty.
Circle
Or the old
I call it
Scotty, the old Scotty. We still. call
Everybody,
it-
Circle K. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. We need to come up with a plan on what we need to do.
Okay, thanks for bringing that to the council so that everyone knows exactly what's going on. Unfortunately, and much like what you were told in the planning and zoning meeting that you attended last Thursday, by statute, we're not able to respond and interact with a conversation really. What you've done is brought it to light. And then if you want to get with with any of the councilors or whatever afterwards, you're more than welcome to do so. We just, as a body of government, we just can't converse about it right now.
Okay, so
And I just hope you understand.
I mean, I kind of get what you're going there, but when is the time? This is what I feel like when you try to talk to people, it's always a finger pointing and go here and do this. It doesn't need to be that way. This could be a simple thing. I don't want it to escalate.
Yeah,
Child would get hurt, wreck your vehicle.
I can feel it.
This will turn into
I
a
think
major
you've got the ear of the whole council of that. And I can think of at least one person that will be able to better assist you and maybe get this resolved. So, and I'll talk to them after the meeting or later this week or whatever.
And I guess if we can't get none involved, I mean, I work in Rockwall for the city. I'm gonna try to get with our state representative. We can't get anything going. And I don't wanna be that way. I wanna make it simple and easy. This is something we should handle in-house.
I understand.
So,
Well, I appreciate
see
it.
what we can do?
Thank you.
what was his name?
Clint Jenkins. No, isn't it? Was it Jenkins? Is it Clint Jenkins, sir?
Yes, Clint.
Yeah. No relation to Lamont?
Not that I know of.
Okay, Angela Davis.
Yeah, mine's on, I'm neighbors with Clint, and there's another neighbor over there, and another one over there.
Okay,
I was educated that, from 276 back to the mailboxes has been annexed. Or the whole, and this goes way back to the day. So, because at least before Circle K got there, it would drain slowly, but it would go away. It has not gone away, and I don't think it will. And the reason I'm saying that about the annexation is because I talked to Mr. Fletcher, and he said that's why he could not open his fireworks tent, because they were in the city limits, and it was annexed from there. He couldn't even take them back here itself. So the big fight for like 20 years has been, well, we on this side and y'all on that side. Scotty's on that side, y'all are responsible for that side. Well, now it's, I mean, and it's just, I'm confused. And if you're getting taxes from here and you're getting taxes from here and you're saying you've annexed these because you've moved the sign, then the road should be yours. Ours as a city, but be the city and not a private road that everybody keeps barking about. We have a blue sign. We don't have a red sign. Because I was also under the understanding that a red sign indicates that's a private road. And a blue sign indicates that it's city. So really, I'm with Clint and stuff. I mean, we're all up for, we just need a resolution. This has been going on for years.
Okay,
And like Clint said, you know, we don't know what's under that water. Especially when it was starting to dry up and Circle K decides they want to power wash. And guess where their power wires are? Right back in over there.
and I really do, I really feel, I understand, I'll get collectively, we'll put a few of our heads together, but unfortunately tonight, just as I spoke with Mr. Jenkins, yes, that we're just not able to, by statute, converse and have a conversation about.
As you said, we have the whole council's ears, so
Yeah.
everybody knows how we feel. And if we could just get some input from whoever, whoever it is.
Can I see a raise of hands for those here tonight with us that live in that area and have the same problem? Okay, so there's half a dozen.
And well, and the beans were supposed to come, but they had an emergency. And then I don't know what the kids deal was,
I
but
understand, you're just well
Yeah.
represented.
yeah, we figured
I
the
wanted to
more.
go to council to see how many of them were here. It's not just you two.
There were 8 people on my text that said that they were gonna try to come.
No problem, no problem.
Do you know the address of Scotty?
I think it's
Or anything on that corner right there?
525.
525?
525, 276.
Any other citizens input, related to agenda items? Anybody? Moving on, to the consent agenda, is approval of minutes from April 13th of 2021 and April 20th of 2021. April approved bills paid and those to be paid for April of 2021. The approval of financial report from the month of April of 2021. The court report for the month of April 2021. The police department reports are none to report. Item F is a public works work order report completed and outstanding for April of 2021. The public works report for the month of April 2021. The permit report for the month of April 2021. The code enforcement report, we have done it for this month. The EDC minutes for April 5th, 2021. Keep Tawakoni beautiful minutes, March 18th, 2021. And the planning and zoning minutes, there are none for us to review. Chair would entertain a motion or
I'll
discussion.
make a motion to accept the consent agenda items A through L. I'll second it.
For a first and a second.
Kevin Featherston,
Leon Meyer.
Pam Reed, Marvin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Unanimous. Moving on to old business. So these are, I have one old item that we're finally, after 6 months, gonna be caught up from the 2 or 3 year backlog that we had because of COVID last year. And thank goodness. In this discussion or take action, it's, let me back up. It's item number 7, subsection A, a discussion or take action on proposal for sanitation services from both Sanitation Solutions, which is our current contract holder, and also Ameritex for the city of West Tawakoni. Any picker order y'all want, you must be Woody. Is that Woody's back here? Okay, hi Woody, how you doing?
how you doing?
Good, good. Any particular order y'all want to go in?
Go ahead, Winnie.
Oh my God. You just threw me under the bus.
I get that the same way. I'm sitting here today because of it.
Let me introduce myself to the council. My name is Woody Brantley. I've been in business, I guess, 40 years, so been doing this a long time. Matter of fact, we've had you guys since 2010. You know, and it's all the same to you, we'd like to keep it. Let me tell you a little bit about the company. I represent Waste Connections doing business as Sanitation Solutions. We're the third largest company in the world. We operate exclusively in this North Texas area. We're entering our 16th year of operation. And in that 16 years, we've actually grown to 60 plus cities in this area. We have 5 satellite locations, distributed all around the Northeast Texas area. We have 4 transfer stations in case something happens where we can't get to the landfill. We have areas where we can offload. We own and operate our own Type 1 landfill. And from a liability standpoint, your solid waste is safe when it gets to our landfill. Just wanted to make sure everybody knows that. Were you getting ready to say something?
I'm gonna say that.
I'm gonna say a word. Am I doing all
You're
right?
doing good.
Okay. That's just a little bit about the company. It's been around a long time, so we know a lot about solid waste collection. Let me touch up on the rate sheets that we submitted to make sure that the council understands. Now, if you have a copy, go to tab 6. I submitted 2 different rate sheets. The first rate sheet mirrors the current contractual agreement. We pay 10% franchise fee on commercial accounts, and we pay a 15% franchise fee on residential accounts, which represents about $27,000 annually to the city. We're doing nothing.
We're making trash.
No, exactly. Lots of that, lots of that. Let me touch up on a few other offered services. You may not notice it because the truck is a truck and they all look extremely large. We use the smaller trucks, 20-yard single axle trucks, which means that they're lighter. They have lighter payloads and they don't do as much damage to the streets. So that's something you need to think about. We offer 2 homes demolished for execution of a contract, and 1 home demolished with the proper documentation every year thereafter. If it's a 5-year contract, that's a total of 7 homes that you can tear down within your city. And all we ask for is that you pay disposal price. We absorb the labor, we absorb the transportation, and we absorb getting equipment here and taken away. We offer 2 scholarships annually, $500 each. We provide an annual donation of $1,000, and that's going to be to the volunteer fire department. All we ask is that you just request. We provide 4 30-yard open tops for citywide cleanups. And we provide free trash services to all municipal locations within the city. That does not apply to sludge. Okay, that second rate sheet does not have the $27,000 that goes to you annually. But I think that we're still competitive, but it still has those same offered services. I did that because I didn't know exactly what our competitors would do, and if they were going to go by the outline of the current contractual agreement. So that's the reason that I did it. Can't give you an idea of where we stand because there was no comparison done. Generally, in RFPs, once all of the haulers or service providers have input their rates, they're generally shared with each other so we can kind of run cost analysis and comparisons on them, to see where we stand. and we haven't seen any of that, so I can't help you there, but we certainly would like to retain your business, I promise you.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Are we currently using the franchise rate?
We're using the franchise rate, so we're getting that $27,000 payment, yes, ma'am. That's revenues that I'm sure that the cities need. We're not gonna get that
And the current rates that you gave us is what we are looking at spending, right?
That's exactly right. It would be $12.78 with the franchise fees and $10.86 without the franchise fees. That's the reason that I separated them.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
On the 30-yard roll-offs,
Yes, sir.
those are just here monthly, they're here every month, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the ones we got down at the sewer plant. How often do y'all dump those? We just have to call?
It's on a wheel call basis.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And is that something that whenever we call, we pay for that disposal fee, I guess? Or
That's correct. That's correct. They generally have a monthly, what we call rental fee. Sometimes they don't. But generally, sludge boxes have about 10 tons of waste in them. So, I mean, it's a hard thing to try to, put on the schedule like every Monday or every Tuesday. I mean, it's a drying process that goes with that, so forth. And,
well, no, I'm not talking about the sludge boxes. I'm talking about the four dumpsters, but we keep them down by the sewer plant, the 4 dumpsters for trash.
The 30 yards.
oh, yes.
But we do have to pay a disposal fee for those.
Nope, those are free.
So no matter how often we fill them up, and whether we do a couple of like citywide cleanups a month, we fill them up twice a month, you come out and do it for free.
You get up to 4 annually.
Okay, they're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anything after that is, I think, 80%, of the current rate.
So when you say 4 annual, you're talking about both roll-offs 4 times annually?
All 4 boxes, so you get 4 annually for free of charge.
And that's what we use at Keep West Walking Vehicle Cleanup Days.
Mm-hmm.
And how much is it after that? You said 70% of the normal fee?
80% of the normal fee. Now, we also have boxes that we donate depending on, what type of event you're having. Again, you just need to call us and kind of give us an idea of what's going on. And I mean, we can decide together whether or not we give you that one for free. Happens a lot.
It seems like I recall, it's been a couple of years ago now, COVID. Do you guys do porta potties? Because it seems like to me you guys furnish porta potties.
We did at one time, but we don't any longer.
Okay.
No, sir.
It's not solid.
Not solid.
Way to put it.
I wanted to make a joke, but I won't.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody got to do it. Exactly.
Any other questions, concerns, issues, anything like that?
I'm gonna make sure
Good.
I'm clear on the houses. So on the houses, if we go into another 5-year contract, there's 2 houses the first year. Is that what I heard?
You're going to get 2 houses free initially. I mean, you won't even have to pay for disposal.
Okay, okay. So we get 2
Then
for
you
free,
got
100%.
Yeah.
And then we get, okay.
1 year, and 1 every year thereafter.
Right.
And all we ask is that you pay for disposal.
Okay.
So a total of 7.
It's been working out for years.
We've been using that.
Yep.
We haven't, this is our second
I know
year.
the last 2 years we didn't put one down, but up until then, we
Do
do
we
carry.
have a list? Do we have everything ready to go?
If we get a little behind in that deal, we can tear down, as long as we don't go over the 7 in the
Nope.
5 years.
And you can
Doesn't
tear them
matter,
all
we can do them all in the
down.
last year. Okay.
Yeah, you can tear them all down at once.
Oh, I'm sure y'all would rather us tear them all down at once because all the equipment's here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I have a question.
Mom didn't raise the rule.
On the scholarships for the high school seniors, up to $500. Do we have to call a request for you to do that? Give you the
Yes.
recipient's names and whatever?
Yes.
Okay, I need to make sure.
And it comes to City Hall and then you can kind of distribute it.
We've been doing that.
Yes.
This has been passed on to Quinlan ISD.
It is,
That they
okay.
did.
Oh, all right. Just not sure how that worked. Thank you.
Are they doing it that you know of?
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yes, they do it every year. I do have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
In our old contract, we would eventually, every couple of years, there'd be an increase.
Mhm.
Is that set in place here?
Now, it's pretty much in every solid waste contract. Now, you can put a limit on that, and we've got the attorney sitting here, and I'm sure he knows how to put the verbiage in the contract and hold it down to say 2% a year, or where it doesn't exceed CPI. I mean, we'll work with you on that, but that's generally to keep us from getting behind. Costs are going up so fast now, we can't keep up with, it, and we just keep losing ground. We don't have that little small percentage in there in order to try and recover that.
And I'll say this about sanitation solutions, that several years ago, they came to the city and asked for an increase because they were behind. And we basically asked them to put off the increase for nearly a year
Exactly.
because of budgetary reasons, and they agreed to do that. So they've worked with us in the past here in the city of West Walton on those increases when we needed them.
Okay, any other discussions? I really appreciate getting to see you, putting a name to a face. I've heard a lot about you, all good stuff. And I appreciate your time this evening.
There's a lot, I won't tell him a lot of stuff other than.
What was that now?
I'll tell you the best.
I appreciate it, though, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Arnold. This is Arnold.
Bernardino.
Bernardino with Ameritech.
Ameritech Service.
Or
White House.
White
I'm Patrick Mahomes, just saying.
And we all do have the book here.
There you go.
Yes, we do.
My name is Arnold Bernardino. Mayor, council, thank you for allowing us to come introduce ourselves. We're obviously a new guy. You've seen our packets, and the sheet I've got in front of you there is just kind of an overview of who we are. I thought it'd be fitting for me just to kind of walk through and tell you a little bit about us. Again, my name is Arnold Bernardino. I'm the municipal relations manager for our company, Ameritex. Ameritex has actually been owned and operated locally in White House, Texas. We've been in business this is our actual 20th year in business. So Clayton Vickers, who's sitting right behind me, is our owner. He's been doing this forever, so he knows a little bit about trash. But we're locally, we are a privately owned company, and like I said, we are in White House. We employ a little over 150 East Texans in the Texas market. So all of our employees come from this local market. We make sure that we give back anytime we possibly can and support our local community. At present, we service about 55,000 residents or households across East Texas. So our kind of boundaries, along the border down to the Hemphill, Timpson area, Texarkana to this side of Dallas is generally our fulfillment area. Right now, we currently service the cities of Point and Lonoke. Actually, we just picked up Lonoke this year. So we just we service those two cities here. And we specialize in small to medium-sized cities. So we can definitely handle cities of most sizes. Obviously we couldn't do Dallas, but we can handle a city of most sizes. But the reason why we focus on small to medium-sized cities is, so we can deliver the, personal attention that each one of the cities needs. So we're able to take care of virtually any job out there. But we are local enough to the point where Nate Short, he's our district manager. He actually lives about 10 minutes away from here. So he would be over this area. So you have somebody local here. Plus I come through minimum one time a month just to kind of, see what's going on, if there's any kind of issues, that kind of thing. So I'll come through and visit once a month and definitely talk to the city secretaries and so on and so forth. As far as what we offer, obviously we offer polycart service, dumpster service, roll-off boxes, sludge containers, we also offer portable toilets. We do the annual bulk cleanups, kind of like what you're doing now. So we offer that, plus we also do, curbside pickup if that's something that you want to build through as well. The carts, we do the sludge, obviously, if you got a water treatment plant, we'll do the sludge, containers for those as well. And you already mentioned that you have a couple of events coming up with the fish fry and, the race and whatnot. So anytime the city has any functions going on, fish fry, race, or anything like that, we'll provide portable toilets and trash cans for you for free. So all you gotta do is let us know when those are. We'll usually, depending on how big the event is, we'll drop off 3, 4, 5 toilets, whatever you need, and the poly carts as well. So that way, you can kind of don't have to worry about, going into local businesses, that kind of thing, especially if it's in an area that you don't have, access to, toilets and whatnot. But we'll provide this for you. You just give us a couple weeks notice, and we'll schedule them, we'll drop them off, a day or two before the event. And then after you're done, you just give us a call, we'll come pick them up. And, so we'll do that definitely for those. And that's, like I said, if it's a citywide or city sponsored event, you just let us know and we'll make it happen. But that's included. We offer, depending on, where we're at or where the house is at, if you have people that are handicapped or elderly that can't, pick up the trash or do anything like that, we let the cities vet them out. We'll try to do front door service as much as possible to be able to make sure that we can get those. Now, we can't go behind somebody's house. It's got to be, right off the street. But the beauty of that is if you have a situation where you have an elderly person or somebody that's handicapped that can't bring their trash out, they leave the cart at the front door. All they would do is open the front door, drop the bags in there. We'll run out to the bag, to the cart, pick the bags up and take care of them from that point. But we let the cities vet them out because that's something that we want to get in the middle of. So, that's just something, that we'll do for the cities. Kind of like what would he say? Also, we use single axle trucks. So they're a little bit lighter weight, don't hold as much. So we use single axle trucks in this, area as well to be able to take care of that and not, have damage on the roads. And they're just easier on the roads themselves.
Isn't a smaller ladder truck interpret more trick?
It does.
Like you use a pickup. I mean, you don't get real radical with it.
Sure.
A pickup.
Yeah.
Way lighter.
Mhm.
Only two axles.
Sure.
There's
still-
make 100 trips.
Right. Yeah. There's still 20-yard trucks, and we don't have it. That's what we use in Point Pomona. We don't have any issues as far as being able to get around and get all the trash picked up.
So just hypothetically talking about what you just said, I mean, to me, you guys, let's just, for hypothetical reasons, say that to pick up all the waste in our city, it would take 5 trucks.
Mhm.
Well, you're not gonna use one truck and run it back and forth. That would be pretty stupid, right? You're gonna probably send 5 trucks, get it all knocked out. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm speaking hypothetically.
Okay.
But I mean, I know, I hear what you're saying is that the road's gonna get traveled 3 times to pick up trash. Like, let's say, back and forth, back and forth.
Mhm.
I don't think that's gonna be the case.
So it's the highways will get
Yes,
doubled,
yes,
but the actual residential roads only be seen.
that's right. That's what I'm trying to do. You see where I was going, right?
Yes,
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm thinking correctly. So
Right.
I wouldn't think that from a business standpoint, it would make sense for y'all to do that. So.
Right.
And so so hopefully that helps you maybe understand. I mean,
How many poly carts can you put in one of those trucks?
How much trash is in the polycart? Probably 400. On if everybody just has a regular polycart.
So if a house had 2 poly carts, you could do 200 out
Correct.
with one truck.
That was everybody, yeah, but that's.
Yeah, well, I'm just,
Right.
we gotta start, do the thing.
Yes, sir.
The curbside, that's for bulk.
Yes, we offer curbside bulk service as well. So generally what will happen is you call the city secretaries up, say, we'll set it up that way. We'll charge the city a nominal fee and then, the city can mark it up to whatever the city wants to mark it up to. And then we'll schedule a date and time to come by and pick it up.
that was my next question. on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
And that's a scheduled thing. I mean, if say I knew next week I was gonna be doing a project and I just call the city and say, hey, I wanna have curbside, and I guess they're gonna notify you guys?
So the way we do it and the other cities that participate in this kind of bulk pickup is we have a set day every month.
Okay.
And so they would have to notify the city by the first Wednesday or whatever day we pick, the first Wednesday of the month. Then she would send the work orders over to us, and then we would pick them up on the first Friday of the month. So everybody have to notify the city. The city would then charge, do whatever they do, and then send the work orders to us, and then we send a truck and round
Is
it.
that part of the agreement, is that part of the agreement, or is this outside of the agreement? Would be-
That's just an additional way of doing bulk pickup. Every city we do has something a little bit different.
Right.
Some want to do where we set the dumpsters down and they man them and they come, and then there are some cities that like, you know what? We're not in the trash business. We don't want to be involved at all. We'd rather just do the bulk pickup curbside, and we'll just do that once a month. That way, because, you know, when you do the bulk cleanup with roll-offs, it's kind of a headache for the city because you got to have somebody out there to man them and make sure that they're not getting overfilled. Well, if we do it this way, you know, instead of, you know, you have to hold stuff for 6 months until the bulk pickup, you just call us, and then that month, every month, we send a truck through and pick it up.
Sir, on that, to add to that, in the city that we used to live in, they only had certain amounts that you could put out for bulk pickup. Do you have a limit? Ours was a comparison to the size of a Volkswagen. It's how you can't put anything out more than that. So I know that's
The city that's currently doing that with is the city of Elkhart, and the way they want it set up is they charge their citizens per item. So, and I think they charge like $10. So if it's a couch and a love seat, it's $20. And then if it's a couch, a love seat, and a water heater, then it's $30. But they use it as a revenue source for their city.
Right. Okay.
So it's just, every city has something a little bit different depending on the manpower. Do you have the manpower to do the bulk pickup, or do you want us to use our manpower to do a curbside bulk pickup? It's just different options.
So back to her question, do you have a limit? What you're picking up in front of my house, are you charging me or the city a certain way for that, or is it just a general charge? How are you charging per resident?
If the city decides to do it that way, then we would just negotiate that price. If you want to have it to where it's unlimited amount, we will do that. It's just, we just have to figure out what a fair price is for both sides. But in our experience, if you're doing it once a month, then it's usually just 1 or 2 items anyway. If you're, instead of doing it once a year where everybody's storing it and then they all kind of throw it in at once.
So it's just bringing us in. If we were to bring it in, you can bet your first month or two, it's going to be crazy.
Correct, I understand.
Yes.
It always is.
What about limbs, trees, brush?
I'll let you answer that. This is Nate. He's our, the ops manager for this whole area, and he can answer that better for you.
So I'm assuming you're probably talking about storm debris and cleaning.
Well, yeah, just, you get trim your trees and.
So
you gotta do
you're
something.
getting into, we can do those, but you get into the logs,
Right.
then those become a problem. They can go through the side of the truck when they're compressed. So we try to limit those. But as far as the limbs and stuff like that, and the bundles, of course, we like the bundles to be tied up so our guys can come by and grab them and carry out.
And just
no
no longer at a
Exactly.
certain length.
Yes.
So,
And it's usually about 4 foot lengths, 6 foot lengths, somewhere around there.
So can you put something like that out on a bulk pickup day?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
and if you don't have 30 bundles, if you just have 1 or 2, then they would just grab them on
On
ground.
trash day, yes.
On trash day. They don't have to be in the poly cart.
No,
No.
not as long as it's bundled up where they can just grab it and go.
Last few things, on the bottom, if you're on the back side of this, there's actually more stuff on the back. But we do also, the scholarships as well, for the high school seniors. As a matter of fact, last week I just gave out, the process of this week, giving out $5,000 in scholarships, to East Texas seniors. But we do a 500 for a male and female, And we take care of that. When we set up a city, as far as the scholarships go, on our website, there'll be a tab for West Tawakoni, where they can click down there and apply for the scholarship. They fill out the application, they fill it out online, send it into us, email it, however they want to get it to us. It comes to our office and then we'll compile them all up, and we could do it either, I can go through them as long as obviously they meet the qualifications, 3.5 GPA, that kind of thing. Or we can give them back to the city and say, hey, here are the qualifications, because obviously your students better than we do. So there might be a child or student that may need it more than another person, although they may be comparable as far as, on paper. So we like to offer that option out to make sure that, we award it to the right person, so we definitely do that as well. Unfortunately, a lot of these things we couldn't do last year, these last few bullet points just because of COVID. But we do a Salute to Service 5K where we have a 5K run, kind of like what you're doing with East Tawakoni, we do a 5K run. We typically hold them in White House, but we're going to start looking at different host cities to be able to do it in that city. So, the city can get some recognition for that as well. But we do that. The Never Forgotten Foundation, I'm going to actually let Clayton talk to the Never Forgotten Foundation a little bit.
It's the money that we raise on the 5K. It goes into it's a foundation for veterans. And so all the money we raise will go to local veterans groups. So anytime Ameritex does a fundraiser of any kind, it's always for local East Texas. We don't send any of our money out of East Texas. And so we just once we do an event, each year we'll pick a different local veteran organization, and whatever money we raise, we just give them all the money. And it goes through that foundation. And then the same thing, like we've got the awareness can. It's something very simple. It's very easy. It basically all it is a pink can, and the city doesn't have anything to do with it other than if a customer requests it. And we charge $4 extra per month, and we take that whole $4 and send it to 2 cancer charities that are local in East Texas. One of them is called the Luke Strong Foundation, which is very similar to the Ronald McDonald House. So if you've got a family that can't afford to go to the hospital with their child because he's sick with cancer, then the Luke Strong Foundation will help pay their rent or pay their hotel stay or whatever they need to do to make sure they can go. And then the other one is the Cancer Center for Life, which is an organization that's based out of Tyler. And it is a group of doctors that formed a charity, and they do physical fitness and diet. So if you've got some kind of cancer and you go in, you tell them what you got, and they will help you develop a diet and workout program to help you recover. And once you have recovered, you're a member for life for that organization. So all the money we raise with those, for the 2 cans, we split it 50-50 and we send it to both cancers. So we send 100%, we keep nothing for ourselves.
And the last one's actually, I'm gonna let Clay talk about the Texas cattle.
Oh, I'm a huge FFA guy. And so this year we decided, we're going to start putting on a cattle show for raising more money for kids. And I reached out to a lot of our business partners, the guy that we buy our fuel from, our insurance, the trucks we buy. And within about 2 hours, we raised about $16,000 that we're going to give away for championship steer, championship heifer, and an actual, if you know anything about cow shows, we're going to do an actual scholarship for showmanship, which, and the reason we do that is because there's a lot of families that can't afford to compete. I mean, you've got parents that spend $30,000 on a heifer. Well, when you spend $1,500 on a heifer, you're probably not competing. And so with the scholarship and the showmanship, it's all about the kid. It doesn't matter what kind of cow he brings to the ring. And this kid can go in and actually show and win some money, just like the kids that's got the money.
Yeah, our daughter won that at the State Fair of Texas, and of all the things that she won when she showed cattle, that was her most prized.
Oh, yeah.
So I do know about that.
Because it's all about the kid, and where you got, you go to some of these big shows and you got parents that spend $30,000 on a heifer, and they've got people out there tending to it and all that stuff, and the kid walks in the ring and out. I'm not into that. I want the kid to actually do the work. And so that's why we're doing this show, is because it's gonna be about the kid.
I have a question. The other sanitation solution offered $1,000 for our local fire department. Is that something that you would consider?
Absolutely.
Because
number
they
five.
do,
It's item number 5, actually.
It is,
Yes, yes,
okay,
ma'am.
okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
No,
No, it's in the binder.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it's
I'm
in the
sorry.
bound. I feel like the first one we got seemed like it was different, because I marked it all up and I was looking at it.
It was probably our first one that we did a long
Yeah,
time
we
ago.
submitted something about 12 or 13 months
And I
ago.
grabbed the wrong one off my desk because I liked it better. I already had colors in it.
You grabbed the old one too?
No, I wished I would have, because it had some more information in it about the roll-offs and stuff. I hadn't found it yet. Looking through this one.
Thank you for answering.
Sure, absolutely.
Any other discussion, questions, concerns, issues?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, you guys, obviously, you sit here and you listen to the first gentleman speak. And so the question is, like, the roll-offs, the 4 roll-offs. I'm sure they're in here because I remember seeing them.
It
in the
is.
first
They are.
original, what y'all, I remember seeing it. There was
It's-
not a whole lot of difference.
Yeah,
between
it's-
y'all's 2 contracts.
Yeah, it's almost identical, but it's bullet point number 4
Yeah.
on that page as well. But yeah, we do offer the 30-yard roll-offs. We're gonna place one at the public work building empty once a month for use for whatever purposes you deem necessary for that. 2 gentleman jobs per year will provide 30-yard roll-off container for that. Or disposal on that part of it will pay for everything else.
So you actually got web meetings on your 30-yard roll-offs, one time a month at no charge. Or is that empty at one time a month?
Yes,
That's
well,
empty, I'm sorry.
so we'll leave the roll-off down there, and then we'll just empty it once a month. So basically, you're getting 12 roll-offs if you want to call it that per year. Yep. So we'll leave it there, and when it's fuller once a month, we'll empty that for you. And but yes, the bullet point 5, we do the $1,000 donation as well. And on our rate that you see in there, that's including the 10% on the franchise fee. It's on actually the very last page of that non-section. I should put that in other colors. But that's really it. Trash is gonna get picked up, we're a trash company, and that's what we do. The big thing that we choose to, say that we differentiate ourselves with is, the personal attention. You'll see me, the council will see me, or whoever, city secretaries for sure will see me once a month minimum. Because I come through and check all the time. Nate, again, he's our ops guy in this market. You'll see him one time a month, coming in here. More, one time a day if you wanted to. He's 10 minutes down the road. Plus when we're even picking up trash, because we know there's situations where, somebody might forget to put their trash out. We'll call the city secretary first to find out if anybody had called in and said, hey, our trash didn't get picked up, because it's way easier for us to stay in town, than it is to drive back again.
Are any of your trucks equipped with cameras?
Ours are all GPS tracked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are any of them outfitted
All our
with
trucks
cameras?
have rear cameras.
They have side cameras to see where, in other words, if Joe Blow calls my city secretary and blows up because their trash wasn't picked up and it was outside, it was out on the curb at the right time. But you go back and look at your videos, so no, it wasn't.
We don't have side cameras.
And we're not gonna argue it that hard.
But I mean, normally what we do is our protocol is if somebody calls in for a missed call, the first time we just always go pick it up.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth getting in an argument with somebody. The second time, it's not, if we drive by and the trash isn't out, we do take pictures and send them into the office.
Okay.
We just don't have a camera. So we just do it
That's the
individually
same
Okay.
concept.
on trouble accounts. We don't do it on every missed call because we spend all day doing.
Yeah, right.
But if it's somebody that we know is gonna call and say, hey, you didn't pick us up and we know we went by and it wasn't out, then the drivers just take pictures and text it to the ops manager and he has it in his phone. So if she does call and say, hey, this guy's missed, we're like, you know what? The second time, we're gonna come by and pick it up, but we just want you to see the picture. It wasn't out. And by the third time is when we'll start working with the city, like, hey, we can't, every time we can't come back.
Right.
Right.
And what we won't do also is, if a customer's paying for one cart and they have an extra bag or something, because Christmas happens, birthday happens, that kind of thing. We're not gonna leave it there to leave the city a mess. We're gonna pick it up. Now, if it's the same customer that, you know, for 7 weeks in a row has that extra 2 or 3 bags, we may call the city secretary and say, hey, you know, such and such person might want another can. You know, because there's just a lot of stuff there. But we understand that things happen. That's why we use the driver helper method, because, you know, we're out there physically manhandling, picking it up and make sure there's nothing left out there. So if there, you know, obviously there's that situation, especially after Christmas, you have people just pile things up.
I've always wanted to ask someone in your business, whether it be Woody or whatever, does anybody ever accuse you of talking trash?
That's a joke that comes up on a regular basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Woody?
I would agree.
You've heard it a few times.
I just gotta know. You
That's
just gotta know. It was an opportunity,
right.
and I see it's an opportunity.
That's all right. That's all right.
Does this 1150 include the franchise fee?
Yes.
Any other questions?
I have one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Periodically, we might have a citizen that has a poly cart that does not have like the company's logo or with a different color. And they will go ahead and put it out there expecting it to be picked up. Will you do that, or would you prefer them using?
Yeah, we provide that rate is with a policy.
Right, I
Right,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah, but every now and then we have someone that doesn't understand, the protocol, and they will do that.
Sure.
And so we
It's-
just need to.
We will pick it up the first time. If it becomes an issue, then we'll ask the city, hey, these guys need to get a second.
It's kind of the same concept. There's a bunch of extra bags there. It's the
It
same.
it does happen. I've seen it happen.
Oh, I'm sure. We've seen one over.
Like I've got one in my shop and I use it maybe once every 2-3 months.
Yeah,
And it'd be nice to be able to roll it down there to the curb instead of having to put it in one of y'all's cart.
right.
Yeah, I mean, we're simple. As long as we can get in, get our job done, and get out, you're not gonna hear anything.
And
Like I said-
one more thing.
Sure.
We should have told you before we started the meeting, we are videoing this meeting and it's gonna be on YouTube, so.
Sure.
If you want to recant anything you said, that'd be the time.
Should I just hold my hand? No, we're like I said, we're simple guys, we're from White House, we get it. It's trash, we just, people make it happen and we can make it go away.
All right, well, guys, we appreciate it.
Yep,
Appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, wait, one more
Oh,
thing.
Yes, sir.
The large item pickup.
Mhm.
The one large item per month or the 10 bags per month.
Mhm.
That is just part of it. And that's not the bulk thing we were talking about a while ago, right?
It should be bulk.
Yes.
That's part of your bulk.
So that's.
Well, I mean, they can't put a couch out there and expect us to put up with a grill over. I mean, just because we can't, you don't want to put that kind of stuff in hydraulics.
Right. And I'm trying to get at, because right now the city has the one day a month bulk trash day, right? And I don't know that I've ever seen a couch out. Maybe I have, I don't know.
Oh, they've been out there.
But that's the reason why I asked, because, I mean, obviously, us as city council, if we do something that's totally different from what we're doing, then now we're slapping the city with something totally new, and then everybody's gonna be in freak out mode. Right, so it's kind of our job.
As long as it's something that we can put in the truck as they're running the route, they'll pick it up.
And I think for the most part, that's what everybody's doing, but it's one day a month right now currently, and these people aren't paying for any extra. It's part of their normal trash pickup. So it's once a month, it's every second
Second Wednesday of every month.
second Wednesday of every month. That it's bulk trash day, and I think 10 bags and then whatever, but I don't know that I've ever seen a couch, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we would just.
I don't doubt that, but.
I mean, large item is, stuff that we can put in the truck. Bulk is something that we can't put in the truck. So we would do curbside bulk pickup one time a month, and then the large item would be.
So maybe we would need to educate our citizens a little bit on that, but I think, I'm saying this out loud, so it's not just me trying to remember it, because I couldn't even make it to your official term.
Maybe they could send
So,
us, the information and we could put it on the city's website.
Well, no, I'm saying this out loud because obviously whenever,
Right.
if we should choose to try to change this, then we all need to remember that And we have to have some verbiage,
Well, I-
attorney, in there that's saying we have a 1 day a month bulk trash pickup, and we need to word it correctly. We'll have to educate our citizens if we were to change, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we.
I'm just trying to speak out loud
Yeah,
while we're talking about this subject, and I don't want to get a trigger get pulled, and the next thing I know, we're all getting hammered in the community because we made a crappy decision.
And Mr. Featherston, that's part of my being very local is, being able to, Mayor, you can set up a session, and I'm sure Ronald can be here, but I can definitely be here, and we can answer those questions and that's good at that time. So that's no problem.
Okay. Fair
And
enough.
how much is the franchise fee? 10%? All right,
And on our webpage, I don't know if I said this, but you'll actually, or on our website, you'll actually have a page dedicated for West Locking that kind of spells out everything. Yeah. For this specific.
okay, hang on, Mayor, I'm sorry.
Fine, you're all right, you're all right. Is there any other questions? Okay, like I said, I appreciate you
You bet.
taking the time to come out and visit us and everything.
Thank you so much. guys.
Thank y'all very much. Mr. Woody, thank you.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
The chair would entertain, any motion or anything. On, Item 7A.
I don't want to make this motion because it's been 13 or 14 months, but I'm going to make a motion that we table this and we table this with the notation that we will have a decision made in our June council meeting, that we will enter into a contract by the June council meeting if we don't do it in a special session. If we have a special session, I would like to see it on that
Are
special
you
session.
tabling it to take it to a special session?
I don't think we have to table the table.
You don't table it to special set, but to table it, I think staff, especially you've got a new city administrator, needs to sit down and go through these two contracts and maybe
I just,
at least have a chance for him to make some kind of recommendation.
I don't think we can make.
He's new, but he's gonna be working with these people for the next 5 years.
I don't think we can make the decision tonight, because I think we need to talk about how we would ask, the bulk trash and stuff like that to be worded, so then we can make a formative decision of which one do we go with.
I agree, that's really the purpose of having them both there the same day, so that everyone could get a feel for it. And I expected it to be tabled myself personally, because we need time to look over it. Just like Jim said, our city administrator needs to be able to look over it too and interpret these contracts.
We had time to.
He
look over
certainly
it. I
knows
think
better
having
than-
them there is,
Yeah.
having you guys here is what
Yeah,
helped.
yeah.
None of us would have ever been able to come up with these questions without y'all.
I'll second the motion.
All right, Kevin made a motion to table it until the June meeting, Robin second. All in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Leon Myers,
Pam Reed,
Chris Burkett.
It is unanimous.
And I do apologize, gentlemen.
Yeah, like I said, we should have about,
No, it's not true.
You guys are more than welcome to hang around and probably can be boring.
Woody, good to see you again, sir.
Okay. Moving on to item 7B, discussion and action on creating a committee on the farmers market in the West Tawakoni City Park. Chris Burkett, you got the reins there, buddy.
So we brought this up a couple of months ago, got some citizens involved. We have actually got a large group of citizens that's going to be on the committee. We'd like to hold the first meeting Wednesday, the 19th at 7 o'clock here at the Chamber Building at
What time?
7. So we can start kind of sorting it out, who's going to be responsible for what and all that.
I've got a suggestion. Why don't you meet on Wednesday, talk to this, your potential committee. Get back with me with numbers, what you perceive duties, policies, et cetera, are gonna be, and put it in the resolution and adopt it formally for a formal. Let council appoint the members and everything on the June meeting with names.
So if we meet Wednesday, the 19th, it'll be ready by the June's meeting.
Absolutely.
I'm good with that.
I think June will be the eighth. June next council meeting after this is the June 8th.
No, that's it, June. May 19th, that's right.
Your meeting May 19th, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, if you meet on June 19th, I don't think it'll be ready.
We're gonna be May 19th, so it'll be ready.
Okay. That's what I've got down as May 19th, because I've got it in my calendar as well. Any discussion or anything on this? Yeah.
That pretty much.
Is there anybody in the audience that's gonna be a part of this endeavor? What was your name, ma'am?
Molly Bill.
Molly Belt. Nice to meet you. Anybody else? Okay.
Anybody else wants to? We'll talk. Okay.
We've had some good feedback on this stuff.
That's great feedback.
It's something I can really grow. Okay, without any further discussion, Chair would entertain a motion on creating this committee for the farmers market. An official motion.
Actually, you might want to make a motion when we have to know what the committee's actually gonna look like.
Okay,
So we just need to make a motion to form a committee?
well, we just,
Wait till
Chris
our-
Chris is organizing an informal meeting
Alright.
tonight.
well, this would, we just let it down
Okay. Thank you.
for lack of motion. Moving on to item number 7C is discussion and or take action to approve over 65 exemption freeze by Ward Henson. I got word late today that he will not be here to discuss any of this. So we're gonna move on to number 8, new business. And that would be discussion and or take action to approve recommendation to appoint a new member to planning and zoning commission place 2. And I believe her name, are you Sheila Purvis? Hi Sheila, nice to meet you. Very glad to have you aboard. Chair would entertain a motion. Oh, okay,
I've got information from Chuck on all these. so-
okay.
Okay, so on the first one, it's by nomination and unanimous vote. P and Z Commission recommended to City Council that Sheila Purvis be approved for place 2 on the commission. Ms. Purvis is a resident of the West Tawakoni, a realtor, has a keen interest in the growth of our community, and it was felt that she would be an asset to the commission.
Now I'll make the motion. To approve Sheila Purvis to the Planning and Zoning Commission place 2.
I'll second.
Robin first, Leon second. All in favor?
Kevin Patterson.
Leon Meyer.
Anne Reed, Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Well, it's unanimous. Welcome aboard. Sheila.
Thank you.
Dig your heels in. Okay, moving on to item 8B, discussion and or take action on non-conforming request of a variance for property owned by Black Bear Mobile Home Park LLC located at 205, 207, 209, and 211 on Beth Lane, and also 202, 204, 208, and 210 in Gale Lane in the city of West Tawakoni. Legal descriptions are as follows: lots 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, all in block 2 of phase 1, New Horizon Estates, zoned manufactured housing MH, which requires the main entry to the manufactured home to face the street. That's what we call conforming use. To allow instead that the manufactured homes be installed perpendicular to the street, making the entry to the manufactured home face the side yard rather than the street. This kind of action is non-conforming use. Contrary to paragraph B, subsection 18.2, article 18 of chapter 12 of the City of West Tawakoni Code of Ordinances, which prohibits entry from the side yard, non-conforming use. The chair will entertain comments, questions, concerns.
Okay,
Oh, you gonna?
Yeah, I've got all these.
Okay, go ahead.
By unanimous vote, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends that the variance request by Black Bear Mobile Home Park LLC be granted. The request was for the main entry to be allowed to face the side yard as opposed to the main road as required by our ordinance. The commission took into consideration that all of the current homes have been located on their respective lots that way, and that the reason is that the lots were platted too narrow to allow a 70-foot manufactured home to fit within the main entry facing the road, and that by allowing the variance, it would conform to the existing layout. The owner's representative was advised that this variance recommendation would not extend beyond these 8 lots, and that a requirement for replatting was a real possibility for future development in the subdivision.
Is that phase 2 and 3?
This is phase 1 right now.
But you said
Future development, phase 2 and 3, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they would be facing parallel to the street, or they want to do it perpendicular?
He was talking whenever he was here that they wanted to continue it the same way, but it sounds like to me that he would have to either replat or he would have to come for another variance.
So what he's saying is currently every place they have is too narrow to put it that way.
Yes, ma'am.
And they would have to use more than one plot to put the mobile home on.
Correct.
And they've already got all their utilities in and the meter boxes are all set.
Yes, sir. I drove through every one of those houses that are on that particular, those particular lots already there.
This was addressed at the planning and zoning level. I'm gonna guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 years ago. And one of the reasons that the commission passed it was because this little area is all mobile homes. There's no stick built homes in, either Horizon or New Horizon. And that's probably all that it's gonna be. And it's out of sight. You don't see it. You don't see this development from the interstate. You'd have to drive down to it to see it. So the commission decided to just go ahead and allow the variance for these to be perpendicular rather than horizontal parallel. And that's kind of why they decided to do that.
The only thing about that is that if you look at the other area that has mobile homes there, the first street that's there is, one second, and I will tell you, is Sundown. And yes, they are perpendicular, but that was before the ordinance was done.
Right.
Every other street that's there, Star and Saturn, are parallel to the street, are doing what our ordinance says. So we're actually backtracking by allowing this because we told them they have to do it that way. And then we turn around and tell these people that.
Depends on what it was.
I don't think those other streets you're talking about been there a long time.
Yeah,
They're all, only the first street was done before the, from what I understood from occupants there, only the first street was done before the ordinance, and the other 2 streets that are there were done after the ordinance, and that's the reason that they are facing correctly according to the ordinance.
The issue that I have with this is that when Mr. Mason, the original owner or the original investor that came in, he came to this council and he brought storyboards, he brought all this wonderful plans that he was going to do for that area. And he wowed us. I was there that night that happened. And he touted it as a place to put veterans, people that were like coming out of like rehab or whatever, to kind of give people a hands up and get them a fresh start back into society. And for some reason, that fell to the wayside. And I don't want to see that happen all over our city again with these mobile homes. Not that I have anything against it, but I think we need to follow our ordinance and go by what it says and make these the phase 2 and 3 conform to the ordinances.
Actually, we're gonna be $1,000 a month, I believe.
Yes, yes. I was there for
that.
that presentation. It was just amazing what he was going to do. And now we're on the 3rd owner. And that's happened a couple of times here in this city. And I really don't want to see that happen again.
Well, another thing that the commission did 6 to 7 years ago was they restricted mobile home placement to 4 areas in the city. Now, if you went around the city, you might come across 6, 7, 8 or more. But I guess through attrition, I guess, over time, when these mobile homes disappear, get moved, burned, or whatever they may be, just because there's a mobile home there, doesn't mean you can put a new mobile home. And then going in the future,
Actually, as you can, that's the only time you can put a mobile home.
but you can't on new construction.
Well, you
Okay.
can replace an existing manufactured home with a manufactured home. Now, we can prohibit new manufactured housing
Okay,
in those
okay.
areas. But they do have a legal right through state law to replace a manufactured home with a new manufactured home.
Well, I know that I do recall the commission restricting the number of mobile homes to 4 areas. They did do that.
Jim, does that apply to the original owner? I mean, if I had a mobile home sitting here and 2 years, I took it off and 2 years later, somebody else wants to put one there because there was one there at one time.
There is some litigation over that, and I want to tell you that there is a case, and it's been a long time since I've looked at it. I may be a little bit off on it, but I want to say that a court held that moving a mobile home and putting one back a year later, you still have the right to put it back, but there's not really a time limit in when that is, but
does it have to be the original owner of the one that was there, the property owner? Can it change hands?
in between?
Yeah.
I think that's a fact issue. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. I'm not-
Because I mean, if
I'm
it
not gonna
changes,
guess what the answer.
there's no way to ever change
No, well, no,
it.
it does change. The right can go away. If you take a mobile home off and you don't put another one on for some period of time, you're gonna lose the right to put a mobile home back there if that's a non-conforming use.
Right, okay.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm against mobile homes. I'm not. There's a need here. We need them. And and so, if you have areas available to put them in, yes, I would like to see them come in, but I want also to see them conform.
My thing is, part of our life, we lived in a mobile home park. Whenever our kids were younger and whenever there was this great oil boom, that's the only place you could find to live. But we lived in a very lovely mobile home park that was very well taken care of. And we can have the same thing here. But if you stack them one against each other in this perpendicular fashion in a neighborhood, what you're doing is you're not allowing actually it to be a nice, lovely place. You're crowding them in as closely as you can. And you're causing them not even to have places to park their cars, where they'll end up parking their cars on the streets, which we don't need our streets used for parking cars.
Has there been a big problem for you in Horizon? You have any issues with being able to get through your big trucks?
None at all.
Okay, on that particular
It's a valid
street.
point.
It is a valid point, but we haven't had any issues.
Okay.
And Councilman Reed, this may be the kind of issue that PMZ needs to look at. We need to look at with zoning regulations. I lived in a mobile home park years ago, and it was one where you parked perpendicular to the street. And that home was required to have 2 or 3 off-street parking spaces for every home. The homes were wide enough apart. We had nice yards. It was a very nice facility. It had nice amenities. It was a nice mobile home park. Every house had to be under, and they strictly, if you didn't mow your grass, you got a letter. If you didn't mow it in 5 minutes, you get that letter, you got a fine.
Did you say it was horizontally or perpendicular?
Perpendicular. Everyone was stuck in like that, but
They're not. I mean,
this is not, they're not stuck in close. I can show you one in a town I represent where they're stuck in so close that you can't put clothesline in between.
well,
And that's too close.
they had that margins behind margins, but New Horizon, they're spread apart further than.
Yes.
Yeah, well, originally he wanted to put 2 on one.
Yeah,
And when this all came about, that had been developed years ago. And it's just been sitting there,
Right.
sitting there, sitting there.
right.
And I was on the council when that came to the council.
So
And
Is this a new owner that owns
The
this?
third
The
owner.
third owner.
The third owner.
Is he here?
And were the trailers there before he,
Not at this location, it was not.
there were no trailers there
No,
prior to him?
the lots, and everything was set up, ready for either mobile homes, stick built or whatever, all the electricity, I wanna say,
You talking about
cable,
the third owner?
telephone, everything was in the ground. Huh?
You talking about the third owner, the one that owns it now?
Yes,
Yes, they were there.
so the trailers were already there before. the
Oh,
third
for
owner.
him, they were, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay,
I'm
that's
sorry, I'm
what I
going
wanted
back
to-
to the original.
He just wanted to add to it. And the way it's set up, in my opinion, we almost need to let them go and finish that one phase. Now, the second two phases, no.
Second and third,
He's actually asking for a variance to finish that phase, 8 more in there. So we're
Yes.
allowed, not just allowing 1, we're allowing the 8 to finish the
Right.
phase out.
But I think aesthetically, it would look a lot better.
Yeah,
if they
they've
were-
already started doing it.
It's, we've already got, I don't know how many's there now, but.
We just need to make sure that we're not allowing ourselves to continue going against our ordinance.
Right.
I'm with Leon. Obviously, we've slipped on either enforcement or something. And we've allowed this to happen, which has happened throughout our city. I mean, thankfully, you caught an old house coming into the city several weeks back. And I was going to leave the other day and I seen one on North Shore, which everybody calls it West Rabbit Cove, but it's North Shore right there when you turn right at the stop sign. And man, I hauled down there and I was like, what, y'all going in or out? He's like, no, this came out. And I said, okay.
We caught one on Redwood Road that
Get out of
went
here.
overnight. And it was reported to the city and it was red tagged and they actually went and bought the adjacent property so that it would conform.
yeah.
So they did the right thing.
I mean, so I agree with Leon on this. I mean, obviously, we've already kind of, somehow it's happened. It's not like we're gonna go there and tell people, okay, you gotta move your house out of here, but we've got to start being.
Now, obviously, if all of those weren't sitting there, I
Right.
wouldn't be for it.
And like you said, it's probably gonna look kind of odd
It would.
if we come in here and we say, well, no, now you gotta start conforming to what we already got written, and it's gonna look kind of weird.
No, that being said, Chairman, entertain a motion.
And the other thing we need to do is, before they start that phase 2 and 3, is they're complaining about the road and they're putting a lot more cars on the road. And they're gonna have to do something for the road.
The developer,
That's him. They're the developer.
Yeah, I agree.
needs to step up. and-
So I'll make a motion that we approve the variance for 8B for all the lots that are mentioned in 8B and only those lots.
I'll second that motion.
Kevin Featherston,
Leon Myers.
Emery from,
Chris Burkett.
Unanimous. Moving on to item 8C, discussion or take action regarding the moving of the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meetings from the first Tuesday of the month to the fourth Thursday of the month for planning and zoning. That will give them more time to have their meeting, get their stuff handed off to council, to Annette, so that she can get it on to her, get it on to our agenda for the second Tuesday of the month.
I think they nixed that.
She got something on there.
Planning and Zoning Commission by unanimous vote resolved the issue by recommending a change to the ordinance. That change kept the meeting on the first Thursday of the month, beginning at 6 p.m. unless otherwise previously decided by the commission. A copy of that recommended change has been given to each of you for consideration. If it is felt that the agenda item as set out is sufficient, then if approved by the council, the city secretary should take care of the necessary reading and publication. And that was we're given a piece of paper.
Well, what should have happened, they should have let the agenda item down the table, but instead they went into have a
They changed the
discussion.
time because I believe the time was originally 7 p.m. So that's the one thing that I know they did
I
change.
thought it was 6, there's always 6.
They were discussing during the meeting that it was originally 7. So just say what it was,
I don't
they were
know.
talking about it.
Chairman, entertain a motion on this item. They're basically, they're just gonna leave it. Yes, they didn't even mention the time. There's no time in
It says, yeah, we're
here.
on this-
14th of the month.
Mayor,
Oh, okay, on this one, yes, I'm sorry. I'm looking through it, Jenny, it's not on there.
so we just need a motion to approve. I make a motion, we approve it for 6 p.m. time.
I second the motion. Kevin Featherston.
Leon Meyer,
Anne Marie Robbins.
Chris Burkett.
Use unanimous. Moving on to 8D, discussion or action regarding the site plan approval by Joel Downs for construction or building permit for an auto repair facility located at 470 West Highway 276 in the city of West Tawakoni in need for application for hearing. They're right next to Penny Mart, guys. They started clearing that out. He's wanting to put in an auto repair facility, as well as a variance. This is normally the first 200 feet of 276 is commercial. In this particular area, there's 20 acres that's on commercial, 20 acres or more. It goes almost to the lake. From 276, it goes way north instead of just a typical 200 foot. So
That's over there for a factory.
yeah. Actually, Penny Mart owns all of it, except one little bitty tiny, maybe even a half acre. How big of an area is that?
I don't
I
remember.
mean, it's
off the
so,
top of my head.
it's very tiny. It's no bigger than this building. I don't know if they own it or not, but that's all a small area this guy's want to do. But anyway, you want to go ahead on this one?
By unanimous vote, the P and Z approved the site plan submitted by Mr. Downs. He was made to understand that it was subject to him resubmitting his drawings to meet all of the requirements of Article 17 through 20 of the zoning ordinance, Chapter 12 of our ordinances. There was some controversy over whether he could place a manufactured home on the property because of a potential conflict in our ordinance and the fact that he only wanted to have it there for no more than 2 years. The commission unanimously agreed that he could do that as long as he signed an agreement with the city to remove the home before the end of 3 years, to which he agreed. The commission will take up the conflict in the ordinance at the next meeting.
I don't know how you restrict somebody to 2 years.
And this is right on 276?
Yeah.
It's next door to Penny Mart. It's next door to Penny Mart.
He wants to call, we watched the YouTube video, he wants to call it a boarding house.
Rooming boarding
Well,
house.
if he does that, I had questions for him if he's here. Is he not here? Does he know that under Texas, I guess statute you call it, a boarding house is considered lodging? He would be subject to hotel motel tax. I don't know if it has to be registered as 2 separate businesses. I don't know how any of the taxing issues would go on as far as having 2 separate businesses there, if it's considered 2 separate businesses at all. I also want to know, is he the owner? He made mention that he was a builder. So is he going to be the one that's going to be operating the business, or is he going to?
He was going to
Is
be
he going,
operating it
is he
himself.
going to live there permanently
No,
in the
well,
mobile home, or is he going to lease it?
the way he was talking, it sounded more like family for like security purposes, to be behind it, to watch over the business and stuff like that.
Okay,
That's the way that whenever he was at the meeting, he made it sound.
okay, so he will not be living there.
Yes, he is the mechanic.
He is the
So
mechanic.
did you say,
Right.
can you read that again?
Sure. By unanimous vote, the P and Z approved the site plan submitted by Mr. Downs. He was made to understand that it was subject to him resubmitting his drawings to meet all of the requirements of Article 17 through 20 of the zoning ordinance, Chapter 12 of our ordinances. There was some controversy over whether he could place a manufactured home on the property because of a potential conflict in our ordinance And the fact that he was only wanted to have it there for no more than 2 years, the commission unanimously agreed that he could do that as long as he signed an agreement with the city to remove the home before the end of the 3 years, to which he agreed. The commission will take up the conflict in an ordinance at a later meeting. What's the purpose?
It says 3 years and it also says 2 years. But this gentleman not spend quite a bit of time going through a very lengthy, in-depth, zoning book?
Yes, he did. He
And,
actually.
and
he
is
got a
there
copy
any
of it
other,
printed out.
is there any other ordinance that allows us, or zoning ordinance that allows a mobile home or manufactured home on a commercial property, other than a boarding house?
The only argument he had was the rooming boarding house, and it was, he kept saying that it was a structure, and the structure was, he kept going back and forth between the chart of a rooming boarding house and the definition of a structure, which was assembled on premise or off premise. That's what he kept going
Yeah,
back.
no, the zoning does say manufactured on site or off site.
Right.
But the boarding house is, by definition, is a house providing food and lodging for paying guests, which hence falls under the hotel tax laws.
Considered lodging.
And for 7 or more.
What it appears to me, is calling it a boarding house, is circumventing the zoning that we have in place, just by name. If it had said brothel, and that's the only way you can put a mobile home on a commercial property was a brothel, then I feel like it would have been a brothel last Thursday night. I think it's just the terminology that's being used.
Do we have any other businesses who have owners or residences living within the business? We do.
We do, yeah. There
Were
are
they here,
some.
they were here for
He
a
pointed
long
out
time.
Penny Mart was one of them.
Penny Mart and Charles used to be,
Sunny.
Sonny's, yeah.
But you know, we had this sheriff right down here by the park, by next to the church, that wanted to put a mobile home on that corner right there. We wouldn't let him do it.
Right. I remember that.
I thought they allowed him to do that.
No, there's nothing.
No.
I know there's nothing there. He
You
was
want to put a mechanic shop in?
I
come
think
on, but-
ultimately what he was also telling us is the mechanic shop is gonna be at the front.
right.
And then the other is gonna be behind trees, behind, you're not gonna see it from the street, was another argument of
It's gonna
his.
be hard to be security if you're behind
And this-
trees.
this-
I guess you're only behind security for 2 years.
The problem with it is,
Right.
every business in this town is gonna wanna put a mobile home behind their
Right.
business
We don't-
and rent it out and make extra money. I mean, I'm just telling you, that's what's gonna happen.
And he was quite angry because he thought that that it was already a done deal.
Yes, and I
that-
wasn't
guess he
very,
assumed that we were just gonna rubber stamp this.
I wasn't very pleased with
And so I
that.
wish he was here tonight so that we could ask him some questions. Because I don't want us to be looked at as a town that's not friendly to businesses that want to come here.
Well, I talked to him briefly, well, so did, Leanne this week. I don't know what day it was, maybe Monday, was it yesterday?
I think it was
Or
Friday.
He came out, looked at our map and everything. He saw this huge 20 or 30 acre area that part of what he sits on and part of what Penny Mart and way back north of there. The owners of Penny Mart has made him a deal to buy it. And mine, I want to encourage him to go ahead and seek that purchase and have it rezoned from commercial to, something else that's more conforming use than.
Who is the person doing this?
Joel
Downs.
But he did state in that meeting that he's a builder and he built stuff all over.
Right.
And he was very, I guess he got upset because he said if he can't do it, he's just gonna find all the crackheads and put tents up on his property and let them all live there. I'm telling you, that's what he said.
I should always, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
And you can't respond to.
No.
I don't want to see a mobile home. I mean, if he wants to build a house behind the shop, start
He was a
building.
builder, why wasn't he building the house, why was he putting?
You know, and I don't understand the whole thing
2
of 2 years. What good does it do you 2 years? Because
He just made it clear to us, we agreed
that just
to
means
it.
after, that means, I mean, if you're gonna start a shop,
Some kind of legal action, and enforce that contract, because it's not gonna be voluntary.
no, I don't.
Yeah.
No, once that thing gets there, it's not legal.
It's not
That's the
gonna
problem.
leave. There's too many laws that are gonna, it doesn't matter what kind of legal.
Like we just said a few minutes ago on the other ones, they take it out, they can put another one
Yeah,
back.
so, I mean,
The
So
other
we
thing,
just-
he
I don't even
was
know what you need.
just gonna add to that, because the other thing that he was saying is he wanted to do some storage behind there. That's why it wasn't gonna stay there the entire time. That's
Now we're
another
just
thing.
growing.
My main problem is if we let him do it, then every business up down the street's gonna want to put
You
one
have
behind
to.
there.
I ain't gonna say no.
You're
Because, I
setting
mean,
a
they can,
precedent.
they can stick one back there and start renting it and making money.
I ain't gonna say no.
So
So,
I make a motion, we decline.
I'll second that.
Chris first.
I would like to
Go ahead.
add to the motion that he can build the automotive shop, but no mobile home,
Correct.
if that's,
I'll second your addition.
Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it as one, Chris first, Kevin second. With the stipulation about the auto shop, so. All in favor?
Kevin Featherston?
Leon Meyer.
Henry.
Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
It's unanimous. Moving on to 8E, we're almost finished, guys, it's two more things, two more.
Same thing.
Discussion and or take action in many parts of the zoning ordinance, chapter 12, article 18.2, which designate the building materials allowed by adding an additional line for any product, building product or material approved for use by National Model Code published within the last three code cycles that applies to the construction, renovation, maintenance, or other alteration of the building or other amending languages.
Let me just say, we already do this, because state law changed 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, and when it changed, we changed. We quit. They came in, they wanted to put metal on buildings. Our ordinance said they couldn't. We said they could. We started approving building permits then. So this is just gonna bring our ordinance in line with what we're already doing because state law mandates.
Right, I think this was, I'm not really sure why they did this. All they had to do is go ahead and add it to their book of ordinances.
That's what you're doing tonight.
Well, no, but it didn't have to go for council to change the ordinance. I mean, the ordinance was changed 2 years ago.
No, state law, our ordinance is changing by this. State law changed what we're doing in practice already,
Okay,
but this will actually change the wording of the
So
ordinance.
we need a motion to approve this, and it just goes.
they just make it, or they take out that section of
Well,
their
this will-
books.
You'll approve this on first reading, and then come back next week, and you'll approve it on next month, put it on second reading, and they'll go on our ordinance. with this one.
Okay,
I make a motion with approve the first reading.
I'll second.
Leon first, Chris second.
Kevin Featherston?
Leon Myers.
Henry.
Chris Burkett.
It is unanimous. Item 8F, discussion and or action on amending zoning ordinance, chapter 12, article 17.1. A, opening line to read, site plans are required for new buildings or alterations, additions, or remodeling of existing buildings, or a new altered vehicle ingress and egress or layout of parking areas intended as primary use and other amending language, planning and zoning. You have any on that?
By unanimous vote, the Planning and Zoning Commission tabled this item with minimal discussion.
So there's no recommendation.
No recommendation.
So,
Okay, that brings us to item number 9, citizens input related to non-agenda items. Is there any citizen input that doesn't relate specifically to any agenda that we're talking about tonight?
Only thing that we have is what, was sending that email by,
Any consultant on that?
no.
Is that what I got?
No, I haven't.
just another notice.
No,
No, this is.
No,
this is
you
from her,
gave me a piece of paper and I asked you about it
But
earlier.
this right here was what she sent in to be read at this meeting, but at the beginning of our agenda, requested that public comment to be presented in person at the meeting. And we have an ordinance that states that that's the way that we would. And the only reason that we were allowing it previously was because of COVID.
Yeah.
So does this appear on your email that you got to me in on the first page of that? Let Jim look at that.
This is from the, I forwarded it to the council. This was sent from.
We're gonna talk about changing the policy. We put it on another agenda,
Okay,
but we couldn't talk about that tonight.
so good, pencil it on next. One. All right, we're down. Is there any other input real quick before we go?
Is there anything that we can discuss now?
We can't discuss it, as long as we're,
The Open Meetings Act prohibits this council from considering things that haven't been published on an agenda. So that all the citizens, well, and you did, you went the way to get it to the agenda. You have published it to them. Now then, we'll have to have another meeting. We're gonna discuss this, when you take care of the meantime. It'll be put on the agenda to be discussed at that time. We have to give all the public notice of everything we're gonna deliberate on, because otherwise, we could come up here and deliver on things that affect your rights, and you not know about it until after we've taken action.
yeah,
So we're not allowed to do that.
yeah, you can though. You can't speak to us as a group even after we adjourn, but you can speak to another individual council member sometime after the meeting. And it'd be fine, but you can't have 3 council members talking the same business in the same conversation without it being illegal.
I think what he's asking is how can he stand in front of our council and have a conversation to come up with a resolution?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's what he's
And
asking.
that,
If you want to do that, that's fine. And then after the meeting, get with whoever.
Yeah, whoever would like. to
Yeah.
talk to it, that's fine.
Y'all exchange phone numbers, what do you want to do? And then we can go with it from there. But if you'd like, I mean, if you want to make another plea to it about it, you got more to add or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm really not gonna give up. I'm just gonna put it there. So whatever I gotta do to get on agendas, whatever I need to do, I'm gonna go through all of it.
Okay.
All the citizens.
this is good issue for Tyler, if that's too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got your number, Tyler.
My ears are burning.
He says his ears are burning. That's what he said.
So we did that last week.
We did?
Yeah.
So no other citizens input?
We're okay. We're down to,
I make a
item number
motion to
10.
adjourn.
Robin.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
I third.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Gonna vote.
You second.
I second.
Okay.
Kevin Featherston.
Yeah, I'm,
Pam Reed.
Robin Myers.
Chris Burkett.
Okay.